Well, hopefully you enjoyed that video and you could see the principle of how Asch set up his study and how it was really clear that the participants were displaying conformity. They were trying to go along with the group. But what the studies really revealed is that there were different reasons, and hopefully you heard that in the video, and I'll just repeat and give them names because the narrator didn't really name them. The first type of social influence is informational, where you have the participant who was literally thinking that his eyes must be seeing it wrong. All of them are in agreement. How can they all be wrong and he's the only one who's right? So he was using them as information. He really thought they knew something that he didn't know. On the normative social influence side, you have the participant who was going along because he didn't want to be stared at. Right? Everybody turned and looked at him when he said the right answer, but that was different from what all of them had said. So they all turned and looked at him, and he said, it's just not worth it. I don't really care that much about this, so I'm just going to say what they're saying and get out of here without being looked at anymore. So when we have that kind of normative influence, we have a person who's, they know what the truth is, they know what the right answer is, but they go along with the group so that they can fit in. A lot of times when people think about conformity, they think exclusively about normative conformity. Like regular everyday people, if you use the word conformity with them, they would think that you're probably talking about peer influencing and wearing the same types of clothing or acting in similar ways because they want to fit in, right? But that's only part of conformity. That informational conformity is actually really powerful. I think I told you guys a story about driving in really heavy rain and assuming that everybody else who was driving on that freeway knew whether it was safe to be doing it. And I was just doing what they were doing because I'm not from around here and they probably know. I was using them as information, even though they probably didn't have access to any other information than what I had, which is, well, I haven't floated off this freeway yet. I guess it's working out all right. Honestly, we look around to each other and we think, they probably know something. I'm the only naive participant here. Everybody else here is a Confederate in this big old experiment called life, and I'm the only one who doesn't know what's going on. And so a lot of times we rely on other people for information. I hear people say that they're not conformist. Like, I don't go along with other people. And oftentimes those are the people who are the most likely to use other people as information. They tend to be informational conformists, as opposed to just trying to fit in conformists. So there are these two different kinds of conformity that emerged in this series of Asch studies. So one of the things that always comes up in social psychology when I teach this class is a student will say, well, I mean, in the 1950s, people were a lot more conformist than they are today. And so I don't think people would go along with the group as often as Asch found them to do. So I just thought it would be fun for you to watch another video that's much more modern that shows you, oh yeah, they do, and actually illustrates another component of conformity that I want to touch on later. So go ahead and watch this video and notice that it's not an old irrelevant finding. I'll see you on the other side.